Hello, I am Brenda Ringwood, and I am your host for the Becoming the Best You TV talk show. This isn't any ordinary TV talk show. It is a show about becoming the best version of yourself. The change is possible if you really want it. We share stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, sharing encouragement, hope, and perseverance of overcoming from people from all walks of life who are doing wonderful things. It is our hope that the things they have struggled to overcome will encourage you to step up and do the things that you want to do in life. To step out and be heard. Don't let your past stop you. Don't let fear and doubt and what others say get in the way of your happiness. Stay tuned as we share amazing stories in hopes that your dreams will unfold. And remember to always put your crown on. Wear that crown because only you rule your kingdom.
Hey, it is an unstoppable day. It's Terrence Leftridge, affectionately known as Mr. Unstoppable or Coach T, inviting you to become a part of an experience to help you become the best speaker you can be. Come on and join us at the 8-week Becoming the Best Speaker You Can Be mastermind group. Me and a couple of other coaches, Anthony Russo and Brenda Ringwood and Maud Miller, we are your team to help you get to the next level of your greatness and become the best speaker that you can be. Now, we do that by putting together this membership group where you can get coaching, encouragement, critique, and support to help you move from good to better and to best when it comes to speaking, whether it's as a professional or in your own personal development. Now, we've got a great course over 8 weeks that's going to help you with the benefits of becoming a speaker, the business of speaking, plus we'll help you craft your signature presentation that you can use in future presentations as you go along your speaker journey. We've got tools, tips, and strategies for new speakers as well as some seasoned speakers to take their message, to take their voice to the next level. Isn't it time that you became the best speaker that you can be? Well, go on over to the link below and sign up for our 8-week mastermind program that's going to be beginning soon. Simply go to www.btbspeaker.com, btbspeaker.com. We're looking forward to having you as part of our mastermind group so that you can become the best speaker that you can be.
I'm getting ready to start on a journey that I want you to follow me with. And I'm going to start taking this little tiny pill called V-Burn. And then in my water and even in my tea, because it tastes really good to add to your tea, I'm going to take this stuff called V-Slim. It's from a company called Viseo, who created liposomal technology. What does that mean? Well, they take these products and they wrap them around a fat bubble so your body absorbs them. You're not pooping out your vitamins. So follow me on this weight loss journey. If you want to know more about these products, go over to thingsbybrend.com, send me a message, and I'll be happy to tell you about it. You know, I had the opportunity to drive to West Virginia from Kansas and spend a few days with Patch Adams, the Patch Adams, you know, the one that Robin Williams did the movie about, the one called Patch Adams. I got to meet him at the Gesundheit Institute and hear his story directly from him, the early stages, what his life was like, and how all of this kind of transpired. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Mr. Patch Adams, along with myself, Brenda Ringwood, the Professor of Change. I hope you enjoy. Well, Patch, what do you think of when you sit on this front porch looking out at your amazing property?
I mostly think about gratitude. What are our current needs? I immediately go to the full need, the building of the hospital, all the buildings, the clinic, the emergency room, and our residents so that we can live here and practice and be a model. That's really what I'm always thinking about. dream of creating a free hospital is 51 years old. You know, in a 51-year-old project, it's not uncommon to have close friends or new acquaintances say, "Oh, come on, Patch, give it up. You know, it's not happened, and you've really tried hard, and look how far you've come." Ah, I have never been discouraged, not for 1 second. You know, it's not, I don't think the idea in an activist to give themselves a deadline, and if it's not there, then they'll just give up. All of the problems that were problems when we started out that made us want to address healthcare as a business and return it to a service and a loving, playful service. That is how, and I can sit here in the 51st year and look around and say, that wasn't here before, that wasn't here before. And I see a gigantic building that I know is the future teaching center, and I'm working for it. I'm okay. When the 60s happened and I gave my life to peace and justice, you know, where my ideal world where no one alive remembers what the word war means, there are still many wars right now. Russia and Ukraine are nightmares to all of us that know and love these countries. And still, maybe through TV and the news and movies, so much celebration of war and combat and manliness and all of that stuff is there. And parallel to it are the people like me who say, let's show what it would be like if that wasn't the case. If love was our currency and fun was our effort and direction. When I talk to somebody donating and wants to know how much is this buying and how much is that buying, I can mention different levels to them from their $10 donation, and a lot of those kinds of donations go into keeping us running. And that we need, I'm going to say, 4 to 6 figure donations for the completion of the teaching center and the beginning and end of the hospital and residence for all the staff.
We really have some miraculous stories of some wonderful people who have truly come a long way in life, that have overcome challenges, but they stepped out and they did the things that they wanted to do, and they grasped the life that they wanted for themselves. And I got to think, well, maybe some of you don't know the reason behind the BTBY movement. What is my story and why this movement is so important to me, why you are so important to me, why your life matters to me, and why I want to see you become the best version of yourself. So I wrote this book, and I had a lot of friends tell me I needed to write it, and I really didn't want to. But the more I do this, the more I felt that it was needed just for myself, even to heal. So if you've got a story out there, sometimes it helps to write it down. And my book is called When the Truth Hunts You Down by Brenda Ringwood. You can get it on Amazon. It's real short. It's just about 100 pages. So go check it out on Amazon. I'd love to hear more from you and what you think about the show and this movement. You can always find me at social media at Brenda Ringwood, brendaringwood@gmail.com, or at thingsbybrenda.com. Hi, it's Bren. We are coming to you from the Gesundheit Institute with Patch Adams, the Patch Adams. And what an experience this has been. The nature here is absolutely beautiful. The buildings, the artwork, the people, the hiking trails, the wildlife, the sounds, the weather, just everything. Everything this place touches stands for something. And it is healing. It is therapy. Patch, I got to start with some of the hard questions. I just do, because everybody thinks that you started right here.
I started, I don't know how far back you want me to go. I entered medical school to be a healer. I entered medical school to love patients, to care for them. And what I saw was racial prejudice, sexual prejudice. I saw doctors arrogant and treating nurses like less than they are. It wasn't really teamwork and it wasn't fun. And I am a nerd. I did very well in school, but I didn't fit in to their style, and so I started to think in medical school, and it was the 60s also. I was in medical school 67 to 71, which was probably as revolutionary a
Yes.
time in the US as we've ever had after the original revolution. So I thought, very quickly I thought healthcare should be free, a gift to the society, and fun. And I was trained to be a doctor in 3 to 7 minutes, but people are a lot more complicated than that.
Yes.
And I started to interview people 3 to 4 hours.
Really getting into their history and what's going on with them.
Well, I liked 19th century novels. And so I would talk with people, whether it was in the grocery store or in a bar or wherever, about health and their life. And I knew probably by my junior year that I would create my own place. And I started to think, again, being the 60s, it was a farm, it was a place where the staff and the patients lived together.
Right.
And that's kind of where I was when I graduated in 1971.
And you were in the state of Virginia?
I went to the Medical College of Virginia, 67 to 71 in Richmond. And then I graduated, I moved with my mom in Arlington, Virginia. And I basically told people I was a free doctor, they could come and see me, and didn't really have a place to see people except the living room or another room if they wanted more privacy, or outdoors, going for a walk.
So no clinic or office building, it was your home.
Right. And I loved how respectful people were for doctors, in that it felt like they would tell you everything. You just had to ask casually.
Right.
And comfortably. And so it's during the time that I started is when I started to do 3 or 4 hour initial interviews to really get to know a person.
I don't think I've ever spent that much time with a doctor in my life.
And people are complicated, and I think that I saw that if you wanted a story, they would give you a story. And I loved it. I loved it. I very quickly saw, partly because I myself, at 17, 3 times was in a mental hospital and given drugs. I hated the drugs and hated the hospitals.
Right.
And then I was present at Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, and I instantly changed and decided at 18 to never have another bad day.
What a choice.
To be 6 qualities: happy, funny, loving, cooperative, creative, and thoughtful, as who I am, and also as a possible influence to patients, because it was very quick when I started to interview people a long time. I found out that their relationships weren't wonderfully happy, that the usual person didn't like themselves, didn't like their wife, didn't like their job, and that wasn't why they were seeing the doctor. They were seeing a doctor for symptoms.
Wow. But that's so true.
And so I really started to study families, study relationships, and study human history so that I could try to understand what was. It's why I have such a hostility to capitalism and power over hierarchical living.
It makes sense.
President, vice president, junior vice president, treasurer, secretary, etc. Each one a step above or below somebody
Right,
else.
all the way down to us.
Yeah, right, to cleaning staff.
Yeah. You know, as a janitor for many years, that's a very important job. It is a very important job. It's a hard job, and it's a thankless job. Nobody wants to appreciate how much work goes into maintaining a space.
Right, and it again was a time where I was thinking communal living. I could not believe that a nuclear family, especially one that weren't particularly loving to each other, would live in a house that could hold 15 people. And there was the Vietnam War was going on, and I was very anti-war, anti-racism, and sexism was being acknowledged at that time, and so all of these joined the idea of activism. And so obviously we would have to have a hospital that welcomed all people, regardless of race, creed, and or national origin. And
As it should be.
And it was interesting, I never got a lecture on wellness, being well, in medical school. It was always disease care. And there was no lectures on diet or exercise. In fact, doctors didn't really pay attention to diet or exercise or relationships or that sort of thing. There wasn't a test you could do.
Right.
So, and they were often placed on psychotropic medication, which by that time I hated for what it did to me.
I don't like it today.
And there, the Gesundheit was born in 1971 when I think it was 3 or 4 of us moved into a house while I did my internship at Georgetown University. I didn't do more than an internship, I just couldn't do it anymore. And it was a time when people, a lot of people my age, were looking for something to be part of, and so it's interesting, we went from the first house then to a house called Danville Street in Arlington, and again, there was only 3 or 4 people that lived there, but we were full of people all the time, and we were using words like commune and friendship and trust and those kinds of things were really important, and play.
Right.
That the adult life wasn't, stress at work, stress at home, stress and stress.
You could have some fun.
And
enjoy it.
That fun, especially with the words I chose to be, being around miserable people or living with miserable people was not something I wanted to do. After 12 years of seeing patients, we realized we had no idea how we were ever going to raise money. We had, by that time, did we have 1,000 foundation rejections? Anyway, there was a period where you could have put the rejection letters on the wall and filled a room. And we had refused publicity, but then we went public. I went public because they didn't care about a we.
Right.
They cared about an I, and so the Washington Post did a front page Sunday style section, a big huge one of me walking on a rope and those kinds of things, slack rope, and I thought we'd be funded right away, and because over this time, your medical bill has been the number one reason you lost your home.
Yes, or file for bankruptcy.
And and what the hell does the doctor think they've done for the person? So when we stopped seeing patients at 12 years, within a year I felt a real need to care. I really did a lot of encouraging of people writing letters, so I've now answered over 500,000.
And you hand do them all.
I handwrite them all, exactly.
No TV, you don't use a computer.
We don't have a TV. I chose not to use a computer because it made young people stupid. I've been healthy. I've done regular exercise, yoga, weightlifting, and aerobics for 40 years. So I'm very fit, and it's been fun. I started clowning before I became a doctor, and a lot was because I was a weird nerd, dweeb, dork, sissy boy. And so manly men would beat me up, and I didn't hit back. So I found if I clowned, people don't hit clowns. So
it was a protection mode, kind of.
Exactly, and it's also really fun. I can go up, I can do this.
Yes.
Almost no one can do that. And I can do it. One of my props is the world's largest underpants. And I've had 2 presidents of countries in my underpants with me with photos. And
your philosophy on people, can you tell me a little bit about the state of mind and why you do what you do?
Well, I grew up in a context of hate, giant racial hatred. Just in the richest country of the world, and it's overeducated country, how is it that it happens? How does anyone hate for color?
Right.
It's just a shade.
That's right.
You can get a really dark tan and join the club, and then you start seeing the subtleties and to see that it's there about women as well, and it isn't long before you see it about nature. That nature is something you cut down so you can build a big house.
Right.
Let's see, you asked a question
about your mindset of loving people.
Well, that was my mom. My mom loved people. I never saw her angry or unkind.
Wow.
She was a military wife. Dad was away, and war destroyed him, which is why I'm strongly anti-war, or a reason. And he didn't really participate in his kids. I mean,
in that generation, especially being military men, did not.
And Mom was love, love, love. Whatever she couldn't have with her husband, she seemed to have with us. Not sexually, but friendly and playfully. She was a school teacher, an elementary school teacher, and she loved her boys. And I mean, the 60s were weird. Long hair was weird for her, and the freedom in marching and all of those things were, she was what they call first family of Virginia. So she was related to the first white people that lived in Virginia.
I see.
And I went to some of those meetings. That was really weird.
It was.
And
you feel that humor and joy will help those that need therapy for the brain, for any type of mental illness.
Well, you understand, I've never given a psychiatric diagnosis or psychiatric medication. I publicly say I never disliked the patient enough to do that.
Oh.
I don't believe depression is an illness. It's the #1 prescribed medicines or antidepressants. It's a symptom of loneliness, but you'd never be able to give a pill for loneliness.
Right. Tell me your vision. Tell them out there what it is that I know you talked a little bit about the teaching center and the hospital, but talk about your vision.
What I talk about is a 40-bed rural primary care hospital. Surgery, OBGYN, pediatrics, internal medicine, family practice.
Can we talk about the movie a little bit and why that didn't help the Institute?
Well, it did help secondarily, because people in their letters or people say, I saw the movie.
Right, so it brought them to you.
Right.
What brought that about? How did it come about that you were asked to do a movie?
Well, we had 2 movies before that.
Did they work with you on the movie to make it accurate? Did they ad lib or did they change it? I mean, what?
No, they changed it. They tamed it.
Yeah. Oh, they tamed it.
They you know, they didn't really, to my knowledge, talk to me while writing it. They talked to me before, and you know, I couldn't think of a better person to do it than Robin. I loved him.
Yes.
It's interesting, for me, he's an extreme introvert and I'm an extreme extrovert.
But you wouldn't know it with his acting and his comedy and the things he went through.
People don't give him a break. Everybody recognizes him and they come up to him, oh, Robin, I love you, I love you. And so he hides from people.
Yeah.
And it was a very popular movie. And they promised to build their hospital. So even if it was a horrible movie, the promise that they would build it was there. They've never checked with me. They've never answered my 5 letters.
I hope you enjoyed hearing Patch Adams' story. He's got an amazing dream. I've been to the property. It's got great taste. The stuff that he's already got built is very good quality. It's meant to last. I can see his vision when I'm there. If you want to donate, you can go on over to patchadams.org. You can also go check out what's going on his Facebook page at Patch Adams. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes of amazing stories from ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I have some exciting news. Patch Adams is going to open up the Gesundheit Institute for a Moonshine Festival. He's going to call it Mooning with Patch. It's Labor Day weekend this year. Great prices. All the money goes to his organization to help build his facilities. The teaching center first and then finish up with the hospital. Of course, some of the donations will go to actually run the festival, but the rest of them all go to build his buildings. Can you imagine letting his 51-year-old dream come true? Wow. Go on over to thingsbybren.com and grab those tickets. You have 3 options. You can go for one day, you can go for both days, or you can buy VIP tickets, which has a whole bunch of stuff included. Go on over to thingsbybren.com and grab those tickets. This is going to be an amazing event.
Hello, this is Erin Page, your host for Dream Party KC 2022. What does DREAM stand for? It stands for Dare Radiantly Every Day and Moment. And if you are ready to ignite the spark within your dreams and in your life, this is the event for you. August 28th, 2 to 5, we will also have an opportunity to do mindset activities and give you the tools to take home with you so you can continue to become the best version of you and take those dreams and ignite them. I look forward to seeing you very, very soon here in August. Go ahead and reserve your seat today at erinpage.com.